Hello and welcome to Hexed Countered. My name's Joe. Today I'm going to be doing an introductory video for our theme of the month for February 2023, and that is Mark H. Walker's Flying Pig Games. So as you can see here, what we're looking at right now is the game 65, Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam. This was actually the first of the Flying Pig games that I did for my channel when, back in I think it was in the summer or so, when the channel was still relatively new. My channel's not even a year old yet, but I feel like I've made some strides and in my presentation skills. And so this would be a good opportunity not only to highlight both this game and The Long Road, which is Mark's other game that I have done a series on already, to kind of kick off this this month of featuring the games of Flying Pig Games, and also just kind of shine a spotlight back on a couple of games that I really enjoy and that I feel like, because they were done a while ago when the channel was still new, maybe a lot of people who are newer subscribers haven't had a chance to actually check them out yet. So I'm not doing anything new specifically for those games. As far as 65 goes, this is, and this will be true kind of consistently throughout this series. Most of these games, if not all of the games I'm going to do, will be tactical games at either a squad or a platoon level, covering a variety of different conflicts. This is something that, I feel like Mark H. Walker's done a really excellent job at, going back to his days when he was running Lock and Load, and has certainly carried through to Flying Pig Games. So 65, obviously, this is Squad Battles, I think, is the name of the series, and I might be wrong about that, in which case I'm sure I'll hear about it in the comments. But there's a sequel to this coming out called 85, which covers the Soviets in Afghanistan. So kind of the Soviet Union's kind of nightmare war in the same kind of, counterinsurgency vein as the Vietnam War was for the United States. And that game will be coming out on Kickstarter, I believe, fairly soon. And I am looking forward to that. I will be backing that pretty much day one. But in the meantime, I did want to talk about, the games that I've done in the past of his. So we would start with 65 and talk about, kind of what made 65, what makes it unique, what makes this system so good. I mean, there are several different systems, and he employs a variety of designers that kind of take the system and do their own thing with it. But it's all got his kind of fingerprints on it, I believe. So, the thing is with this game is that it has leaders, or heroes, kind of. And so, you can see here on the box, there's black here. And they have a variety of abilities and things that you can call on during the game itself. I also mentioned another game of Mark's of Flying Pig Games, Mark Walker. This was The Long Road. This is something a little different in that basically it uses the platoon. Yeah, it is Squad Battles. Haha, I was right. As you can see, he was the designer of Platoon Commander, Squad Battles, Lock and Load, and World at War. So obviously, Mr. Walker's track record of making tactical games is both a long and successful one. And so this one is a little bit of a twist, as you can see right here. It's World War III, so it's obviously alternate history set in the 1980s. But it has a paranormal twist. What this game has in it, in addition to the Warsaw Pact and NATO forces colliding in Germany, it also has vampires and werewolves and witches. And Mark has written several novels that kind of go into the same universe as this, and characters in the novels actually appear in this game. I really like this system, and I know there may be some grognards out there who would be like, I don't want to play a game that has werewolves in it. I just want my Abrams and my T-80s and let me have at it. This can do that as well. There are historical scenarios built into it where you don't have any paranormal situations at all. I really enjoy this game. It does use the Platoon Commander system kind of with a twist to handle some of the paranormal stuff and the addition of kind of heroes and so on and so forth. You can see that this one probably has a little bit of the DNA of both Platoon Commander and Squad Battles, in that it kind of uses those abilities and heroes and so on that I mentioned when I was talking about 65. So really good game. I do have a series on this. I will link it so that you guys can watch it, and I'll show a little bit of video, kind of excerpts from that series, so you can get a feel for what this game is all about. This one I did a little bit later than I did 65. So again, in looking at my progression of my channel as I've gone on, you know, I'm about a month plus, you know, 6-7 weeks short of my 1-year anniversary for my channel. So this would be a little bit further along towards where I am now. And again, I'm sure I have many more. In fact, I know I have many more subscribers now than I did when I did the videos on this game. So anybody who's new and hasn't seen it, I highly recommend this game. I really, really enjoyed this game. So please, you know, if you get a chance, check out those videos. I will link them here in the video up in the corner, and also obviously in the description. This is the expansion to the Long Road, Fatherland. This adds some of the West German forces. You do get some East German forces with the Long Road. So with that, you have both Germanys in the game system. And, you know, you get additional scenarios, a new map, new historical stuff as well. So definitely a worthwhile addition to the main game. So definitely check this one out as well. And I did do a video on this expansion as well as the base game. And now we'll talk about a game that I'm doing currently. So you will be seeing videos for this game in the very, very near future, because this is the first game that I'm doing specifically for the Flying Pig February series, the theme of the month. This is Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk. So if you're unfamiliar, Platoon Commander is a series of games that Tiny Battle Publishing, which is kind of the smaller publishing house style sibling of Flying Pig Games. So it's still Mark Walker's company. It's still got his fingerprints all over it, but the games are more akin to, you know, smaller publishing houses. The components aren't, you know, the ridiculous high quality of Flying Pig Games components, although they're very nice for, you know, something that's less expensive and less, you know, built up, I guess. I didn't really mention the quality of the components in Flying Pig Games, but all of the games that I've played, and I'm sure this is true for everything they've done, the components have been outstanding. The maps are beautiful, the hexes are large, the counters are large and chunky and easy to move. Just a really, really quality experience. I mean, as someone who played war games back in the 80s and can remember the old days, the you know, the whole industry has come a long way. I'm not saying GMT doesn't have great components, because they do. I just love Flying Pig Games presentation, from the artwork to, I mean, look at this artwork on here. The artwork to the counters to the maps, everything is just outstanding. And the systems of these games are all, I don't want to say basic or easy or anything like that. They're all medium complexity at best, or maybe slightly more than medium in some cases, but they're all very, very learnable. These are all systems, and there's several various tactical systems, and you'll see this as we go through the series. As I mentioned, if you look at 65, you'll see the squad battle system, which is squad level tactical combat. Platoon Commander, as you might guess from the name, is platoon level tactical combat. Then you would also have the Long Road, which is, as I mentioned, it's mostly Platoon Commander, but it's got some twists and some nods perhaps to the Squad Battle series in terms of the way some of the leaders and heroes and stuff. This series, Platoon Commander itself, doesn't actually have you know, leaders and things like that. This is pretty much your crunchy platoon level tactical combat between, you know, infantry, tanks, armored fighting vehicles, APCs, half tracks, etc. You have artillery, you have some aircraft that can come in for airstrikes. There are Stukas in this game. It's an excellent system, and as I mentioned, it started in Tiny Battle, and there are 5 or so, I think, games, 4 or 5 Platoon Commander games, maybe it's 4, available on Tiny Battle Publishing that you can buy right now. You can also still purchase this game, I believe, on the Flying Pig website and other places. There are still online retailers that have this game in stock. Of the games I've shown so far, I believe 65 is the only one you probably would have a hard time finding. There's going to be another one that would also be extremely difficult to find these days, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But this is the first game for Flying Pig February. So just as was the case with The Long Road and Fatherland, Tracks in the Mud is an expansion for the Battle of Kursk. So this has some new scenarios. You get new vehicles. You'll get the IS-3 tanks and King Tigers and things like that. The cool thing about this expansion is, almost like The Long Road, it has a little bit of an alternate history to it. There's no werewolves or anything like that. But you get a what if Patton was right kind of scenario in June of 45 with the U.S. Army and the Soviets going at it. So you're going to have Pershings and Sherman Easy 8s on the U.S. side that are added to the game. Because Kursk obviously is an Eastern Front battle in 43 between the Soviets and the Germans. This has more Germans versus Soviets, like early war, Barbarossa stuff. But it also has that kind of alternate history thing between the U.S. and the Soviet Union in 45, which is, people have often wondered about. Churchill and Patton both were kind of the opinion that it might be worthwhile to kind of continue the war and try to drive the Soviets out of Europe, out of Eastern Europe, back out of Poland, back to their original borders. The 45-year Cold War that ensued after that might have been avoided. It may have been worse. Who knows? But anyway, this is something I will show in an episode of the series this month, but I did want to mention it. Tracks in the Mud, Battle of Kursk expansion. Okay, and here we have Armageddon War. So this is also a platoon level game. I actually have not played this yet, so this will be something I'll be playing for the first time as part of my series here. I only recently picked this up a few weeks ago. Really looking forward to playing it. If you watch the Player's Aid or some of the other content creators who do game stuff like I do, they all pretty much to a man love this game. I've heard really great things about this game. It's and what a great system it is. Greg Porter is the designer. Just like the Battle of Kursk, the designer is David Van Hoos. So Mark does work with other designers. I haven't had a conversation with him about how the workflow goes, but I'm sure he provides input and general direction, and they do the design. And he also works with Shane Logan, who is the main designer of Old School Tactical. Now, Old School Tactical will also be part of Flying Pig February. However, I do not have a box with me yet. It has yet to arrive. I have it coming. So that will be part of this as well. Just not here for the introductory video. I do have the print and play, and I've played it on Vassal, Old School Tactical I'm talking about. But I don't have a box yet to show you. And I do want this to be all tabletop as far as the main pieces of this. I may, in fact, I almost certainly will do a digital game that is tied to Flying Pig through Tiny Battle Publishing, but it's a PC game. And so we will do that as well. I'll save that as kind of a pseudo surprise for later. If you dig around, I'm sure you could figure out what the game is. But in the meantime, let's talk about Armageddon War. As I mentioned, Greg Porter design, platoon level combat in the End War. So we have another kind of alt history, except this is more modern day than The Long Road. The Long Road set in the 80s. This is set basically in the 2020s, 2030 time frame. So near contemporary. So most of the weapon systems in this game would be weapon systems that are currently existing in the real world out there. And there are several expansions to this game which are inside this box as well. And so when I get to this video, you will get to see the plethora of content. I think I have everything that was done for this. I think. I'm not 100% sure. And there may be some things that were in Yaah magazine, scenario-wise, which I don't have as well. But I have most of this game's au revoir, I guess, as you would say. So, looking forward to playing this one. This was kind of the genesis of the idea of doing a Flying Pig Games feature month. Because I got this, I've been looking for this for a while. I was able to get it. And so now we're going to play it. And I figured if I'm going to play this, maybe I should do Kursk and I should do Old School Tactical and talk about, redirect attention to both 65 and The Long Road, which are both outstanding games. And 65 actually has a sequel coming out very soon. So just wanted to mention the games that I will be featuring this month. So please check back. If you're a subscriber, you'll get notified, of course. If you're not and you want to be notified, hey, subscribe. It's no harm, no foul. Doesn't cost you a dime. Helps my channel grow. I would appreciate your support. But either way, even if you just come back and down the road and check it out when it's up, that's good. All good too. So expect to see Battle of Kursk here over the next week or so. Followed by Armageddon War, probably also for a week or so, and then Old School Tactical to wrap it up. That would be Old School Tactical Volume 3 is the current plan. We'll see where we get with that. And then possibly at the very end, if there is time, I would do maybe Crowbar, or I might pick up an issue of Yaah, because there's several of the games that have been published in that magazine that I would love to try. I just have not pulled the trigger on anything yet. So maybe some Yaah stuff, and as I mentioned, there's also a digital game as well. So that will do it. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your support. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing this video or any of my other videos. It all would be most appreciated. But until next time, my name is Joe, and this has been Hexed Countered. And until that next time, happy gaming.